This is the project we are going to build now. You can see there is a television over here and there is a remote control. If I click the on button, the television gets turned on. If I click the off button, the television gets turned off. I cannot select a channel when the television is turned off. So I will turn on the television now. If I click the number 4 on the remote control, it is taking me to the channel number 4 and there is a video playing for the channel 4 on the television screen. You can randomly select any channel number and there will be a video playing for that channel number on the television screen. If I click the previous button, it will take me to the previous channel. If I click the next button, it will take me to the next channel. What happens if I am on the channel number 0 and then I click the previous button? It will take me to the channel number 9. Okay, what happens if I am on the channel number 9 and then I click the next button? It will take me to the channel number 0. So there are 10 channels from 0 to 9. We are going to learn JavaScript by building this project. Alright, let's start. Before starting the project, I want you to download the starter folders. Below the YouTube video, inside the description box, you will find this exact link. Click on this link, it will take you to this exact web page. After coming to this page, click on this green button. It will show an option called download zip. Click on this option, it will automatically download a zip file. Please extract that zip file. Inside that zip file, you will find this folder called JS Project. Please open this folder directly inside the VS Code. Inside this folder, you will find all these 4 folders. Now please go inside this TV folder. You will find 3 files: index.html, script.js, styles.css. Inside this HTML file, you can find some HTML code. This is the HTML code for the television and the remote controller. Inside the styles.css, you can find some CSS code for the television and the remote controller. I will run this HTML file on the browser now. Here you can see the television and the remote controller. We are not going to type the HTML and CSS for the television project because you are not here to learn the HTML and CSS. You are here to learn the JavaScript. We are going to make the television and the remote controller interactive. Inside this HTML file, if you scroll a little bit below, you can find this script tag. So inside this opening script tag, you can find this src attribute. Inside this double quotes, I am typing script.js because I am connecting this script.js file with this HTML file. You can see the body tag starts here and the body tag ends here. At the very end, inside the body tag, I am creating the script tag. Whatever JavaScript file name you mention here, that JavaScript file will be connected to this HTML file. Please open this HTML file on the browser using live server. You can see the output here. There is a television and the remote control. First of all, we are going to learn about variables. There are 3 types of variables: let, const, var. In this project, we are going to learn only about let. In the upcoming projects or upcoming videos, we will learn about constant var and we will also discuss the differences between these 3 variables. So now I am going to create a let variable. This let variable is nothing but a box or a storage container. Variable should have a name. I am going to give a name of age. This variable should have a value. We have created the box. We have given a name for this box. Now we are going to store something inside this box. So I am going to store a value of 12 inside this box. You can ask the JavaScript to show what is inside this variable age. I can type console.log parenthesis age. So now we are telling the JavaScript to show in the console what is inside this variable age. To see the console, you have to go to the browser. Now I am inside the browser. To go to the console, you have to right click and select the inspect option, or you can just press Ctrl Shift I buttons together in your keyboard. It will take you to this console. Here you can see number 12 on the console. This number 12 is coming from the script.js file, line number 17. Now I am going to create another variable. This variable is going to have the name of person. Inside this variable, I am going to store a string. What is a string? When you type something that is between the double quotes or single quotes, it will automatically become a string. You can also type between single quotes. This is a string and this is also a string. Okay. So now I can ask the JavaScript to show me what is inside this variable person in the console. Now I'm in the browser. I am going to press the Ctrl Shift I buttons together in my keyboard. It will directly take me to the console. Here you can see the word mic. It is coming from script.js line number 20. Inside a variable, you can also store true or false. Now I am going to say let is present equal to true, and I will come here let is absent equal to false. So now you can see here this variable is having a name of is present. Inside this variable we have a value of true, and this variable is having a name of is absent. Inside this variable we have a value of false. In JavaScript, true and false is called as booleans. So you can store a number inside a variable. You can store a string inside a variable. You can also store Boolean values like true or false inside a variable. Inside this variable count, now I am storing a string, not a number, because even though it looks like a number, this is not a number. You are typing 2 inside the double quotes. Inside this variable stage, I am storing a value of string. This 6 is looking like a number, but it is a string, because when you type inside a single quotes, it will also become a string. Variables should have a unique name. Multiple variables or two variables cannot share the same name. Now I will type let count. After typing this, you can see here JavaScript is giving me a warning or error. There should not be any duplicate variable names. You can see here cannot redeclare the variable count, because you already have a variable or you already have a storage or container in the name of count. So you cannot create another variable with the same name of count. We have a variable student. Inside this variable, we have a string. Now what will I do is I will try to write console log in this line and ask JavaScript to show us what is inside this variable student. Now we can go to the browser. Here you can see inside the browser we have this warning or error. JavaScript is telling us cannot access student before initialization. It is coming from line number 16. Here you can see this console log is written in line number 16. So now JavaScript is telling us, bro, you are asking me what is inside this variable student before even creating this variable. So now I have to take this console log and put this to the next line. Now I can ask JavaScript to show me what is inside this variable student in the console. But before creating this variable, I cannot ask JavaScript to show me what is inside this variable student, because JavaScript runs line by line. Here is an example. These console logs will now run line by line. I am in the browser now. Here you can see these console logs are printed line by line. We can also do mathematical operations using variables. Now I will create another variable, sum. Inside this variable, I am going to store the value that is inside the variable count. So now what is happening here is we are creating this variable sum. Inside this sum, we are storing this value 10, which is coming from this variable count. We can see what is inside this variable sum in the console. Now I am in the console. Here you can see the number 10, which is coming from the line number 19. Now I will create a variable sum. Inside this sum, we are going to have count plus count. So now inside this variable, we are having the value of number 20. Console.log sum. I will create another variable minus count minus 2. Inside this variable, we are now storing the value of number 8. I will create another variable multiply. Inside this variable, we are going to have count into count. Inside this variable, we are storing the value of number 100. Let divide equal to count bar 3 console.log divide. Let modulus equal to count bar 2. Then I can say console.log modulus. Now let's see what is printed in the console. Now I am in the browser. Here you can see what is printed in the console. Alright, enough of the boring stuff. Let's start building the project. You can see I have created this variable name, but I am not storing any value inside this variable. So what you will see in the console. Now I am in the browser. Here in the console you can see it is printed as undefined. So undefined means JavaScript is telling us you have not stored any value inside the variable name. You can see this variable name looks different. I used camel case for this variable name. The first word starts with a small letter and every word after that starts with a capital letter. This makes the variable stand out and much easier to find when searching your code. Now, here I'm going to type equal to document dot get element by id parenthesis double quotes number buttons. You may wonder what we are storing inside this variable number buttons container. So what is happening here is JavaScript is having this friend named as document. This document guy is having access to all the HTML tags that are present inside this HTML page. You know, in the very beginning, we connected this HTML page index.html with the script.js JavaScript file by writing this line of code. So now JavaScript is asking his friend document to get the HTML element or HTML tag that is having this ID. So here you can see this div tag is having this ID of number buttons. So we are storing this div tag inside this variable. So we can see that inside the console. I will write console.log number buttons container. Now I am in the browser. Here you can see the div tag with the ID of number buttons is printed on the console. It is coming from the line number 17. First of all, we are going to create the variable video. Inside this variable, I am going to store the HTML tag that is having the ID of video. So document dot get element by id parenthesis double quotes then video. Now I can type console.log video. Then challenge number 2, we have to create a variable channel text. Inside this variable we are going to store the HTML tag that is having the ID of channel text. So document dot get element by id parenthesis double quotes and then channel text, then console.log channel text. Challenge number 3, we have to create a variable screen equal to document dot get element by id double quotes screen. So inside this variable screen we are storing the HTML element or tag that is having this ID of screen. So we can type console.log screen. I am in the browser now. You can see what is printed on the console. We can see 4 HTML tags that are printed on the console. So what happens if I give a ID that is not matching with any of the HTML tags that are inside this HTML page index.html? Let us check that. So I will give a ID of cake. You know, there is no HTML tag inside this index.html page that is having the ID of cake. So now what we will see in the console. Let me comment out these two console log. I am in the browser now. You can see the null is printed on the console log and this null is coming from the line number 21. So null means JavaScript is telling us, bro, you have given an ID and that ID is not matching with any of the HTML tag that is inside the index.html page. I am going to access this variable screen. I can type screen dot style dot style means CSS, style dot background color. So background color should be in camel case. The C has to be capital, equal to red. So now we can go and see the output. Now I am in the browser. Here you can see the div tag is now having the background color of red. Here you can see I have just typed screen. If I put a let here, you can see JavaScript is giving us a error that we are creating two variables with the same name of screen, which is not allowed. Now I am going to create a variable count. Inside this variable, I am going to store a value of 10. Now if I want to access this variable and if I want to do something, I can just say count equal to hello. Now I will add a console log here. Again, I will put a console log here, console.log count. Here in the console, you can see the number 10 and the string hello. In this line, I am creating the variable count and I am giving a value of 10. This is called as initialization because the initial value of count is 10. In this line, I am accessing this count variable that we created here on the line number 26 and changing the value from 10 to hello. Here 10 is the initial value and hello is the reassignment. Now the variable count is having the value of hello and not 10. Similar to this count variable example, if I type here screen equal to double quotes welcome, I am changing the initial value of the screen variable, which is a div tag, to this string welcome. This is initialization. This is reassignment. If I type screen equal to 12, JavaScript will store this final value of string welcome inside the variable screen because JavaScript execute all the code line by line.